Okay, so just doing a check-in here because, well, I know that the month is about to close, but it wasn't until I just glanced up that I realized, oh wow, a week from right now, a week from today will be the final day of March 2026. And man, oh man, this year has taken me from a loop for a loop. I'll tell you right now. Like I said in some earlier videos, I knew that 2026 was going to be tough, but man, let me just say, I'm glad to have made it this far. There are some obstacles I am trying to overcome right now. And yeah, it's looking pretty rough. But all I can say is, hey, I got, food in the fridge and cabinets. Electric bill is paid. The last big bill I need to pay before the end of the month is my mortgage, which I'll get done by the end of this week. And yeah, so I will say though, I am kind of waiting to see God put a ram in the bush because in terms of my main channel, I don't really know what TV shows I'm going to review. Now, I've had some good suggestions about, hey, check out like Chicago or whatever, PD or whatever. Why don't you go back and review shows you haven't, like Kingdom Business or Reasonable Doubt? That might be a fun venture. I will give it a shot. And, Lord willing, those shows do well because nothing like having a back catalog to go to help things stay afloat until the major shows I review come back from the hiatus. Now, I know next week, is the beginning. Well, technically, I'll just say the week after next, so like April 6th. If there are some shows coming out, hopefully there'll be announcements, and I'll be like, whew, like even if a show doesn't really come back until like April 20th or something, at least that's something to look forward to. Is like, hey, I'm going to be struggling for the first couple weeks, but I should be good after that. But yeah, I've been really maintaining the consistency of reading through Psalms or Proverbs whenever I feel low in my spirit. But I will say there have been so many times this year alone where God has shown up and given the proverbial ram in a bush, whether it's like, oh yeah, well, this item you bought and I received it damaged, I got a full refund for, and that money went to good use. Or somebody sent a donation, and that money was, I think the first real hardship of the year, it wasn't that I couldn't pay a bill. It was when we had that blizzard. Well, I think it was early February because at that point I had already spent the money on my big mortgage, electricity, credit cards, all that stuff. And I needed like an extra heater or something because praise God, my power didn't go out. And some people, donated, which was great because I remember at the time my sister was still recovering from her car accident. So, I will say that um I've been blessed because the people around me have been going through it. And I'm like, wow, I could be going through that too. But, what I'm going through, it's like the fix is more money or more leniency, this, that, and the third. Like right now, I'm dealing with a major IRS issue, which sucks because, long story short, my 2023 taxes were lost for over a year. And they sent a bill on Friday the 13th. That's what threw me off on March 13th, basically Friday the 13th. I got a letter from the IRS saying, hey, you owe us double what your return was. I mean, what your balance was due to fees and interest, and it's due by the 31st. Thankfully, I get a chance to rebuttal by May, and it will be done by, end of this month. I already got it because the tax provider I used for that particular year found out via a letter this on yesterday, Monday, that their software malfunctioned and they didn't even know that the taxes weren't submitted properly until I told them about a letter I got from the IRS last year. Then they resubmitted and the IRS got it, but it's still missing pieces that would have helped as deductibles. And on top of that, the tax provider was like, I sent a letter to the IRS asking to waive the stuff for you. So that's the problem. And my 2024s are missing as well. And that's a hassle because being self-employed, I do have deductibles, but I don't really receive money back. I'm used to that. But now I'm dealing with the giant, like, you know how a snowball will start at the top. You know how it does in shows and cartoons where a snowball is like rolled off the top of a mountain or a cliff, and then as it rolls, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. What I'm dealing with is I'm going to have this humongous balance for 3 years of back taxes because of a technical issue, and the IRS doesn't communicate. And I've sent them over a dozen letters and have called them over 20 times. I have a whole notebook as a ledger, basically going through everything. And it was revealed to me when I called on the 16th, a very nice woman I spoke with. We talked for almost an hour and I explained everything. And this isn't private information. This is just like stuff she was telling me and I wrote down. Like I've been given so much misinformation from their office. And there are different programs and relief things I could apply for that could help me out. But it's just aggravating to have to go through this. So that's why I wanted to hop on here and like check in with you all because I don't really know people personally, but I know that everybody's dealing with something right now. It could be financial, it could be health wise, it could be this, it could be that. And it's sad because my church was closed Sunday. They're doing some not remodeling. I think they had to remove like the heat or something. And since it's been cold recently, we didn't have church on Sunday. And yeah, there are other churches in the area, but I was like, man, I'm feeling kind of down right now. I could really use a spiritual pick me up. Like, yeah, I know what it's like. I got my Bible and everything, but it's just the comfort of being around some praying people. So yeah, it's like I'm fighting the David and Goliath battle of the IRS. And my thing is like the longer this draws out, the bigger the balance is because of interest and fees and all this other crap that goes beyond not my comprehension, but my control, because there's only so much I can do. And I did look into it and it was explained like they have a lengthy payment plans, but it's like, yeah, I'll pay little, but my thing was, I get it. There's God's plan and my plan. I had my money kind of fixed up where it's like, okay, I was trying to pay off my mortgage in less than a decade because my housing website thing has a mortgage calculator and I was playing around like, okay, so I could clean up my credit card debt within the next 2 to 3 years. And then by the time before I even get to like 40, I might be done with my house, maybe, because I wanted to go into the next debt, like the 2030s. And I turned 40 in 2031. So I'm like, if I can get out of as much debt as possible by that time, that means I can start really building a retirement thing in my 40s, because I'm looking at a lot of people right now, specifically my parents and other people I know at that age range, who got it so bad that they have to keep working because they can't afford to quit. Or if they do draw Social Security, it's not enough to live off of. Hey, what's up? How's it going? But, I will say this, there is always comfort in reading the word, because I know another thing I've been doing more this year, I've been using that treadmill like crazy. And whether it's, being tired from walking, slightly jogging, or whatnot, the comfort from reading some scriptures, praying, is like all you can do is give it to God. That's the thing. I mean, despite what I'm going through, it's a rough patch. It certainly is. But it's like I told my mom, the other night, I'm like, I got to think about the HE double hockey sticks I went through trying to get a mortgage in the first place. And I got to believe something's going to happen, because I don't want to believe that God will like strip the house and everything away after I just got it. But no, it's like the IRS is a whole thing where it's like, yeah, we'll do this. And like, you send in a waiver and, we can get some things removed and other things you can't. But man, it would be amazing to just wipe out the debt. I've seen the reports and the different sources and all this stuff. OCD. Man, I would say that's awful, but that it's weird because nowadays, a lot of these things are labeled as normal because there are some content creators I watch, and it's like, I took a test and it turns out I'm on the spectrum, and I'm like, what? Like, I remember when I was a kid, they thought I was special needs because I was quiet, but the thing was, I grew up in a household with abuse, fighting parents and stuff like that. I grew up in the it's better to be not seen or heard. So when I went to school, I was just quiet because of what happened at home. So then my mom is like, Jeremy, you need to open your mouth in school so they know you don't need to be in that other class. Now, the only special class I took was speech because I had a lisp when I was younger, which is ironic because look at my job now. But I had a lisp when I was younger. But yeah, when it comes to OCD and whatnot, sometimes I wonder, like, do I have something like that, or am I just that cleanly person? I don't know. I do not know. But I will say one thing: this weather, I'm not a fan of the pollen because what was it? Sunday, I spent a good amount of time that morning before it got way too hot. Washed the car, cleaned the tires, vacuumed the inside, cleaned my windows. Yesterday morning, walked under the carport to get something out of my car. Whole bunch of yellow because while it's been nice out here, it's been really breezy and that pollen has been going everywhere. And I'm like, yep, I don't have allergies, thank goodness, but I'm allergic to my car being dirty, as in after I've took time to clean it because it is very annoying. So, yikes. Yeah, that's the thing. Because I know some people. I had a cousin. I have a cousin who's special needs and whatnot. But I guess it's like it's different for some people where it's like you can quote unquote feel and act normal, but then you're still on the spectrum. Like I don't really know the ins and out of it, so sorry, checking my messages real quick because I know I read Proverbs 3 this morning because I wanted to be more proactive. Like, okay, let me get my day right, pray, read some word, got on my treadmill because I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to be sitting a lot today because I got to edit a lot of videos, and that's what I did. I sure do wish I can get this channel to 1,000. It is kind of my fault for not being super consistent, but given that the hiatus period is coming up, I know that I will be more present on this channel in the hopes to get it, monetized. So that'll be cool. But you gotta let me know what kind of content you want to see. I know I need to edit. That's the thing. I need to like take advantage of the quiet, because as of right now, aside from the soap opera Beyond the Gates, I don't think I have a consistent series to review until the next Tyler Perry thing comes out. But this would be a great time to, update the profile picture and cover photo and channel description on all of my channels. So yeah, this would be a great time to fine tune. In terms of major videos, I do plan on doing some interviews with cast members in the near future as well. So yeah, this could be a season of experimentation, and go from there. But we'll just have to see how it goes. So yeah. But while I have people here, any specific prayer requests, I know I have my own, which I've already written down and talked to God about. But I just know that I'm grateful to make it through another month. Yes, there's still one more week to go, but we'll be done with a quarter of the year. Yeah, 4 times 3 is 12. So make it to the end of March. It will be a quarter of the year already gone. But it's like they say, you know, if you feel like you've hit rock bottom, there's no place to go but up. No place to go but up. Yeah. All right. Well, I just pray that, you know, we all are able to make it to the end of the month. You know, if you're going through anything like me financially, or maybe you're going through something health wise, that, you know, God provides provisions and recovery. I know for me, I was a pallbearer at my aunt's funeral earlier this month. I'll have to do a video about that. Yeah, this is the right channel to do that kind of thing. I'll definitely do a video about that. Well, yeah, like I said, with things kind of slowing down on my other channel, I'll try to get this one really off the ground. That'll be a great thing to do. So, as always, Godspeed. Remember, when in doubt, read the word, turn to God, because more often than not, He'll provide things in a way that you've never expected, you know, where everybody at. I mean, this is a small channel. It is 11 p.m. I don't know if anybody, I don't know if notifications get sent out. I mean, I was live on my other 2 channels, and, you know, the numbers are way higher, but, you know, nobody really came out. But I don't know, maybe on the playback, there'll be some views, but if not, that's okay. That is okay. So, with that being said, everyone, may God wrap his arms around all of us as we step into the final week of March 2026. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.